Zeichat Tzaddik Bracha, who was known to be the Tzaddik of Muncie. He came once to Lakewood and he spoke. I noticed as soon as he finished speaking, he was whispering to himself. I saw that. I noticed it. I saw he was B'derech Yosef HaTzadik. He went to learn in Kamenetz, and they say over, people came to Kamenetz to hear a Baruch Bez Shiurim. He was a Murdik. But he said, I came here for a Baruch Bez Amuna B'tachon. And he was unusual. Ramat Cheshva was not Shayach. It's now Yom Daled, Parshas Beshalach, Tafshin Pei Aleph. I want to thank Torah Anytime, Kavish Kacha Pratis, and Kel Alosha. Thank the Rabbeinu Shalom for all his chasadim. Now, he told me a story. I was standing on a street corner, I think it was 9th and Madison, right here in Lakewood, and he told me that they made a vad in Kamenetz about getting 25 rubles, something like that. 5 rubles, 25 rubles. A vad we all got together, we're going to have b'tachon, and we're going to get 25 rubles. They made a vad for b'tachon. We're having b'tachon, don't say nothing, and watch it come. He said nobody got it except for him. Why did he get it? Somebody that goes whispering all day and all night to the Rabbeinu Shalom for every move he makes. He's going to get mileage. He feels close to the Eibishter. The Eibishter gives him total different treatment than other people. Total different treatment than other people. I'm going to tell you a true story of somebody who was, I'll tell you what B'tachon can do. Somebody who had a friend who was not being such a good influence on him. He was causing him all kinds of bittul Torah. It wasn't good for him. And there was no way out of this friend. Their friend was so warm and friendly and good and loving, and he couldn't find, he loved the friend. He couldn't get, what can I do? I'm human. And he knew the friend is not good. Friend's a nice person, but not for me. It's not for me. I can't. And he tried this, and he davened his head off, Eibishter, to get me out of this. And Eibishter expects him to do something too, and sometimes he just can't. So you daven, you have to go to the Eibishter and keep asking the Eibishter. I know somebody had gewaltige mileage with that statement. He couldn't shake a certain taiva that he had until he said, Eibishter, it says in Chazal, without you, we can't do it. As soon as he said that, boom, he got service. His whole life turned around. From that day on, he had a permanent Yeshua in a certain area in his life. He said the right thing to the Eibishter. You got to know, what should I say, Tata? Sometimes it's good I ask the Eibishter, give me an eitzah. What do you think I should say to you to get what I want? You know, we're trying to do the right thing over here. You give me an eitzah. Watch what happens. The more tzmimis you have, the better. You talk like normal. Things work. Anyway, this younger man, it's not shayach. What this younger man was zeichet to is not shayach. This guy, I know a lot of people like this. Lately, more and more, this younger man finally realized he had no choice. Eibishter, get this guy to hate me like poison. And at first, didn't go easy. He had tried it once with a different zach. It worked here. The guy liked him too much. Nothing was happening. And he decided it doesn't work. So he decided, well, daven again. And he davened again. The same guy, the same everything, who loved them for years and years. He didn't have it. They never had a fight. They never had it. Suddenly, the guy's cold. And he told him later on, he told him, do you know what I did? He told him. He opened up his problem. He said, he explained to him, you know, your interest and my interest is staring me. So I davened for this. Do you know what the guy told him? Do you believe it? I suddenly started feeling a hatred to you. You made me crazy. How could I hate you? But I felt like that. I daven. Now this went on for several months. And he's only human. And after a while, it got on his nerves. His friend Taka mentioned, you have to do that? I should hate you. You can't go like, let's... But he felt that he had no kaiches over his Yetzer Hara. So he used that lotion. Do you know such a thing happened in Slobodka? There were two close friends, Rabbi Yisrael of Shavitz, and Rabbi Aaron Kotler, two geniuses. You have to see the picture of Rabbi Yisrael. Rabbi Yisrael was the first thing. What was the one? Now, there was Mavshavitz and Novandig. This was a more known in Kelm, but he was originally in Slobodka. I heard the story from Yehuda Jacobs. That's all, if I heard correctly. Rabbi Aaron Kotler and him were best friends. They were both Iluyim. There's a picture of him. He's Reb Nosson Wachtfeugel's Rebbe. You have to see that face. Oh boy. They say Rabbi Chonavassim used to come to Kelm just to see him because he was Ani and a Cheid Ruach. There was a certain mila of a person that's considered Ner Nerois, and he had it. And you see his picture. Oh, his face is shining. Oh, Tzaddik Yisei Delim. You see it all over him. And I think he locked himself up every day for 9 hours to learn by Smother Rabbah in a room alone. He was a genius of geniuses. Somebody once told him, you said a good shot in Chazal. He went berserk. He was about to open the door of his room and disappear. And suddenly his hand started shaking. Pshat in Chazal? You know what it means, Chazal? To get Pshat in Chazal, you just talk. He was going crazy. These people at irrigation, we don't even understand how he shook her. Mentioning, saying Chazal to him, it was... Anyway, when he was back in Slobodka, Reb Aaron and him were best friends. And Reb Aaron did not like, the ultimate Slobodka did not like this relationship. He held that he was too... Now what the problem was, this is a famous story. What the problem was, the way I understood from what Rabbi Yehuda Jacobs told me, I may be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, Rabbi Aaron Kotler Zatzal had a very strong tchuna for Musa. And this Rabbi Mavshavitz was very Musadik. You're Gaina, both of them knew Kol Torah Kula, geniuses and tzaddikim and shaykh. They were the cream of Klal Yisrael, and they loved each other. But Rabbi Aaron held, the Alta of Slobodka held that Rabbi Aaron's goes after this person, and it's not good for Rabbi Aaron. The way I understood, Rabbi Aaron was meant more to be Torah. And this person, Taka, eventually, he ended up in Kelm. He was one of the leaders of Kelm. He was Reb Nosson Rebbe. That's what he belonged there. That's what he was all about. More Musadik. And Rabbi Aaron, he held, it's going to mess up. He's got to be more to Torah. So the story goes the following. He called in the Alta of Slobodka, was a genius of geniuses. He was a tzaddik Yisei Delim. Reb Nosson the Mashkiach told me once, the Welt has no musig, the greatness of the Alta of Slobodka. Reb Nosson's father was once a Heisbucher. He slept in the same room together with the Alta for a while. You know that Reb Nosson's father was dug up years after he was left and he was whole. And Reb Nosson said the man had no kinna. This wasn't Pashut, and that was a big Slobodka thing. Not to have kinna, to have ayin taiva, you fagin other people's learning. That's why Slobodka was so much lich. Everyone's happy with everyone else is learning. That's very healthy for the whole environment. People blossom. And people go around with kinna, they subtly tear each other down and don't allow each other to grow. Too much ayin haras and problems, whatever. I wouldn't be so worried about that, by the way. I'll tell you why. Because David HaMelech, the whole world was after him. And he stayed, David HaMelech, everybody wanted Malchus Beit David. Achisofel wanted to be the king. There's a whole... he had people going against him all over the place. His son, everybody, Shalom Melech, everybody didn't want to see him king. And So he was okay. I don't know the rules. I'm not getting involved in that. But that's for sure. If you do have a good eye on other people and you're happy with their learning, that's for sure a very healthy matzv. It brings the Eibush to see how people are happy with each other. It brings a different ruach. Everyone samech b'chelkai. Yishal mekayma yavay b'shalom. Each one does his thing without kinna. They're happy with each other. And one saw Slobodka went crazy over this. Ayin Tova. So did Novandik. Ayin Tova. Oh boy. They put koiches into that. Now I saw a picture of Rav Hutner Zatzal at the chasana of one of his friends, Rav Meir Chodesh, from Slobodka. And Rav Hutner was beaming b'simcha. Now my understanding of it was he was happy with his friends' chasana. That's the way, that's what I felt. Whatever. For sure, it's very possible. Slobodka specialized in this. Ayin Tova, let's be happy with each other. Simcha, it's murder. Anyway, so his father, Reb Noson's father, was the Hoizbuch Badalta, and they say, I don't know, you can check this out. Everything I said till now, that's what it is. This thing, probably true. Reb Noson did tell me that no one has any musik how big the ultimate Slobodka was. He was mamish, all the Torah world today is thanks to Reb Noson C. Finkel, the ultimate Slobodka. The Mir Yeshiva, he was behind the Mir, he was behind Telz, and Slobodka itself, don't ask what he accomplished for Klal Yisrael. He was very, very unusual. Anyway, I believe he told Reb Noson's father, I'm going to tell you a secret, which since you're staying by me, I'm giving you a secret that nobody knows. I want you to know that I could think of two things at one time. And the reason for that is that I did all I could in Avodas Hashem, so I'm zeichet to l'malam derech haTeva. That's how the story goes. Okay, we're getting back. Where did we start? Daniel was close to a baron, and the Alta didn't like the relationship, and the Alta decided he's going to bust that relationship. He calls in Rabbarim one fine day, and he tells him, do you know Reb Daniel told me about you? Now, only the Alta could do these things. By the way, it's Yedua that many big mashgichim, big people try to imitate him. They say no one was capable of doing what he did. He was the purest of the pure. The Alta Slobodka, vi smelled an agia. Oh boy. He was very, very tough with many, many people. One of his Talmidim would walk in to his room, walked over to the light, he shut the electricity and said, there's a famous story with Rav Shach tells it over that once on Yom Kippur he wanted to go to a Beis Abdidus over there, middle of the day over there, and there was an Erev that the other wasn't really Simachan, and the Alta says, anybody here Simachan the Erev? And somebody got up, oh yeah, I'm Simachan Alta. Well, you need me to take the key, to open the door, whatever. You need something there, I'll do it. So the Alta let him have it right there in public on Yom Kippur. You're not embarrassed to say that you're not makbid on the whole oil here doesn't use it. You're not embarrassed to say this in public. Now, nobody, the Alta knew what he was doing. He was a brilliant. He had siyata d'shmaya, the way whoever fell into his hands, they know he's set for life. But he did have a very tough mahalach with many of them, with Rav Hutner, with Rav Hannah Leibowitz. I'm not going to go into all the stories, but he was tough. Some of them he was dafka not. They say Rav Chatzkel Sarna, he was super warm, but they also said, he once told them, I'm locking you up in a room, and I want you to come out with your own chedushim. He was a big Eloi, but he wasn't machadish. And the Alta knew this man's got to say chedushim. That's what he needs. And he locked himself up in a room. If you're not going to come out with your own chedushim, I'm going to be mavazi barabim. That's how the story goes. That he came out and he became a new person. That's how it goes. Whatever. So the Alter calls over Reb Daniel, and Reb Daniel Mavshav, it's not Reb Yisrael. Reb Daniel from Kelm, what's it there? Reb Yisrael was a Novandig, it's a total different person, same last name. But Daniel, he calls him in, you know, Reb Baron Kotler told me something about you the other day. You sure he's your friend? I would discourage you, like, this man is not your friend. I want to just warn you. You know, he would not like it if I told you, but I feel it's my chiv. I'm making up exactly what he said. But he did a job on telling him he is not your friend. That's Clark, what happened. That's Clark, world famous story. Then he calls her Baron separately, and he tells him, Daniel, what he told me yesterday about you, forget it. Rechila. Anyway, yeah, that was the ultimate Slabodka, was able to do things that, forget it. Nobody could do this type of stuff. And for 5 years or whatever, they were together in Slabodka. Daniel was in this side of Beis Medish, Rabbi on that side. They had no connection with each other. Just what the Alter wanted. But before they left, the Alter called in each one separately. He said, now I'm going to reveal something to you. I played a shtickle. It was all a bluff. I made this up. He's never against you, but I held it wouldn't be good for you two to be together. And he told them both privately. That's the end of the story. I'm just saying there is a time. Because he held, each one has his own derech. They weren't good for each other. Now, this younger man, who is heavy into Amuna B'tachon, he gets everything he wants. He's a riot. I know a lot of people like this. Lately, like Alman Yisrael, what's going on with Yidden, what they could do with their B'tachon. You're going to like getting mamish Yeshuas like from nowhere. And so, you know, there was somebody was in Lakewood. He was more in the next world than this world. He had a heart attack, I think 2 years ago. And that's all the guys, they said the guy's finished. That's all the guys said, oh yeah, we're going to, whatever. They made a mamish at Chiyas HaMeis. It's a famous story. The fact that he's walking around as an Eskoli Min Shemayim. And people today, Abisha gives cases. He doesn't let us down. Now this particular younger man decided, I'm going to hate this guy and we're going to hate each other. He had a hard time hating the other guy. It didn't work. He loved him. But the other guy hated him. And it came true. It was unbelievable. It really came true. And it got worse and worse and worse until this went on for months. And after a while, the guy felt, I'm plotting. I miss him. I want to let him say hello to me. Let him something. It ate him up alive. He passes by his house every day. He remembers the good old days we used to learn together. He couldn't deal with it. He was dafka close to this fellow. So he started down, I can't hold out. And the guy was acting like a big shot over him, you know. He didn't like that either. I'm older than him. I want him to come to me, you know. He just kept davening. The guy knocks on his door. And exactly what this younger man asked for. Oh, I'm so sorry, and I miss you, I need you. The guy who hated him. Total turnaround. The power of tefillah for a tumim. A person who's a tumim, what he could get with his tefillahs. A tumim. Why was Yosef so matzliach with a mitzi? Mitzvah hated Jews, by the way. So there's a medrash that the reason why we went to Mitzrayim is because in Canaan we'll be too friendly. You want to build Klal Yisrael with these friendly people, you're going nowhere. They didn't hate the Jews enough. It wasn't a good matzah. You got to hate the Jews, but good. Then we'll be sure of no connections with each other. Mitzvah hated Jews. And Mitamal, Potiphar loves Yosef. How did that happen? And it says, so he sees Yosef walks in every time he comes into work. He notices he's whispering. He says, what are you whispering? He says, I'm asking the Eibushter that I should be nice in your eyes. People have trouble with their boss, trouble with their wife, trouble with this, trouble with that. Before you meet the guy, say, Eibishter, help me that we should get along. Watch it work. Watch it work. You can't imagine what tefillah can do. You can't imagine. Look, I told you my story in my school. That I'm printing Bטחון weeklies for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And I don't deal with the school. They were doing me a favor. And I kept davening, I want my Bטחון weeklies. And this is school. They have millions of things to do. And the secretary, I didn't say hello to her. I just davened. I left her the stuff. And she always said, well, I don't know if we can do it. You know, we have so much other work. I says, of course. Do what you have to do. You know, saying. I walked away and said, Eibishter, I want those Bטחון weeklies. I'm going to you because you are in charge of the office. You are in charge of the secretary. You're in charge of Bטחון weeklies. I really need them. Please, I don't want to stir anybody, but I need it. I did this for years. And for some crazy, weird reason, my stuff was all there. I never bought the secretary. A few years later, someone got a hold of me and says, you know, they're going out of their way for you. Go buy her something. She's a kotel wife. Give her a few dollars before Yom Tov. So I started acting like a mensch. You know, before that, I wasn't even a mensch. And I got, in fact, now this, I'll tell you something. I don't want this to get out. But I felt that before I became Mr. Nice Guy, I got better service. Once I started becoming Mr. Nice Guy, I was Saimach. I was Beiteach in my good manners. Before then, it was strictly the Eibishter. Eibishter, I need Bטחון weeklies. I would daven that it shouldn't be hard for her. That I did. I don't want to hurt people. And then when the assistant principal rolled in to the school, and he sees the school has to make their own tifratenus, and it's not happening, and it's almost the end of the week, and the school needs this. There's a newsletter for the whole week, and he walks in. There's the secretary, and with stacks of Bטחון weeklies, and he looks at what's going on here. I have to do Bטחon weekly. What is going on? This is a school lady. We got a job. We have, and he got a hold of me. Mendel, what are you doing here? I said, what do you want from me? I mind my own business. I don't tell them what to do, when to do. But I go to the Rebbeinu Shalom and I say, hey, I need Bטחון weeklies, get them for me. The one who davens wins. If you get too much involved with people, it's not so pashut. Even when I started acting like a mensch, you got to watch out because you lose. You can lose your amuna. The best way to go is only the Eibishter. Sometimes you have to be a mensch. It's different. But you go only to the Eibishter. It's such a bracha in the world. Go only to Tatna and Shemayim for all your needs. He'll test you, so what? You become like this. They say Reb Chatzkel Abramsky, he used to go like this. Me and the Eibishter like this. He said when he came to Siberia, what did he say? He had people were freezing to death over there. It was Siberia. And he getting colds and who knows what. And he saw right away, I'm going to be in hot soup over there. He said, Eibishter, no colds. I don't know exactly what he said there. But all his years in Siberia, he never, ever, because he got up. I used to do something. Maybe I should do it again. I used to go in the freezing cold weather here in Lakewood. And no coat. Now I wear a coat. But for years, no coat. How'd you do that, Mendel? I used to daven. Eibishter help me. The weather shouldn't bother me. It didn't bother me. How do you like that one? It mamish didn't bother me. It didn't. It's freezing. Everyone's looking at me like, what? Mendel, where's your coat? It's freezing. The whole island is bundled up like this. And I says, what do you want from him in Novandig? They say the Alta of Novandig never, in the freezing winter, he never went like this with his, he never put his, his lapel. What? Never put it up. Hey, the Alta from Novandig didn't feel nothing. He was Malach Hashem. And the heat? You want to tolerate heat? Daven. Daven, watch what happens. Come tonight. Daven. Hey, Mr. Help me tolerate heat. I once saw Novanega, Reb Shmuel Shneya, in like, he was in Lakewood, I think it was. It was boiling, schmaltzy, crazy. It was so hot. It was shayef. He couldn't walk out. And what did he do? He says, he walked, oh, thanks a million. Thanks a million. Yeshikaya. So he says, I says, how do you deal with this? And he's wearing his frock. I know hey bטחון. That's a big, stark and you say. You adjust. I like it. Just say I like it. Say it. I don't mind the heat. You know what words do to you? You say you like it, it won't. It's different. Every time somebody says about himself something, he's making it stronger and stronger and stronger. Do you hear what I'm saying? You go around all day saying, I don't need covet. Just say it. It's chala bracha on you. Unless you stam, I don't know. Or you call yourself a masmed, call yourself this. I like the heat. Keep saying I like the heat. And you're going to like it soon. It's not going to bother you. The mouth bris crucilis fasayim. That's why no negatives. Don't say a word. Don't put yourself down because your body's listening. And when you say, well, I'm not such a good guy, your body's listening. He says, okay, we agree with you on that one. And we're going to keep pulling you down. Your whole neshama listens. This door, I once heard this from an old Branovich at Talmud. Was having a neshama. He was a bach. He never got married. I met him in L.A., very tired of Yid. He told me once, Reb Sol Yankov wasn't a fool. The Alta from the Vardig's Adam. The Vardig, the Vardig, they say he never spoke negative words. Never. And he told me, I think B'Shem his Rebbe, he said, Surmeda, get out of the mud. Get out of it. Don't discuss. The Dur is not, they don't do well with getting into the mud. Now you're going to creep out. Don't get near it. You know, I'll tell you something. Now, I'm going to be very super nasty today. I'm going to be so nasty. I'm going to get the Elam Lebedik now. You ready? All the old Novanegas, if there's any, I'm sure they're listening. And I'm sure they're going to be masking with me, but I'm going to speak a different language. I'm going to speak strictly Slobodka language right now. In Slobodka, they said, you want to break me this? You want to break me this? Guess what's going to happen? You break 1 meter, it's going to turn into 2. And v'sacharna klap oichet. You'll hear it banging also yet. No breaking meters. And I heard this Vilad Ebezatzal from Yerushalayim told me the same thing. Brechen meters? You serious? What are you doing? Watch out, Rabbi Isai. Now, I once spoke to a big Chaim Balena from the daily Torah, from the closest Talmidim to Rav Hutner Zatzal. He told me, it's not, of course everybody has to work in the midas. It's just a nusach of breaking midas that they didn't like in Slobodka. Say, I want to be masakin, my midas. It's the way you say it, the way you look at it. All right, whatever it is. There, I'll tell you, there's 2 agendas that I always felt that Navadik was more into one and Slobodka was more in the other. The Slobodka, I understood, was channel your kaiches. Find out what you're good at and go for it, and don't get so involved in what you're not good at. And I 1,000,000,000% go like that. Don't think Navadik didn't know about that. And don't think Slobodka didn't know about working on Midas. They both had everyone. They knew each other's notes to some degree. And they both did everything. The challenge, what are you stressing? What's good for you? I would very, very much find out what you're good at. And stay there and ignore all the so you're not good at not do that. You're drinking mayim maluchim. You drink salty water. You go nowhere when you go around all day saying, well, I'm not cut out for this. I'm a Kaisen, I'm a Kinder type of Kovednik. I got this. Oh yeah, I'm so this, I'm so that. And you're messing. You don't have any trouble doing that because the brain chatter is doing that for you automatically. The dar thrives. People are like that. I know the mentality, the way people are thinking all day. I'm no good here. I'm no good there. No good. Yeah. I went to the Vardays get together, call each other no goodniks. Oh, were they funny? They came to Monroe at the Satmar Rebbe's yard site. He was their man. And Reb Shlomo Figa and Reb Gersh, remember those two? I think it was Maya was the other one. And they were making fun of themselves. Yeah, you think, each one said, I'm a bigger yuckle than you. No, I'm a bigger yuckle. No, I'm much worse than you. No, I'm worse. No, you know what you're talking about. I'm out of it. Oh, you know how crazy I could be? So you have to understand, they were laughing and rolling. In fact, I'll tell you what they were saying. Being bottled to the Sviva. Being bottled there in Monroe. You see them all over the place. Maybe they didn't feel in place, whatever it is. And the Sviva is on top of you. When you got an assay in the Vardik, that's major stuff. You got to work. When you get to a new environment, the COVID is eating at you. And what does he think of me? They're not even looking at you, but how to deal with it. And so each one felt, no, I'm worse than you. And they were laughing. I still remember Hill Vitkin. He was Reb Shimshon Pincus's father-in-law's father-in-law. He spoke in Lakewood. And he said, when I get an aliyah, and whatever they say, that is whatever it says in the Torah, I know it's me. And I hear the way they're saying, I hear the Malkira. Ish ki yetzarua oizav oitamel nefesh. He said this in front of the whole Lakewood. And he was rolling as he said it. And he said, I used to think I was garnished. I always knew I was garnished. But lately I discovered ich bin garnished. And he was rolling as he said it. He was lifting his head up. He was such a happy person. So I'm not quite holding that. I don't go with that, but I guess they knew what they were doing. Yeah, I see Rabbi Galinsky make fun of himself a little. I've seen Slobodkin people also make fun of himself. They can also do it. And a sense of good humor. I was like, okay. But anyway, what we're doing is we're trying to build people up. Try to be. We'll see. Yeah, different Madrigas. To build yourself up is all it is. That's what I recommend for breaking midas. Build yourself up 24/7 as much as you can. Just tell yourself how great and why. The Torah is all day telling you, you're no good, you got to go fuck it. Now, I'm going to tell you a Meshuna de Kazakh. David HaMelech married Bathsheba. He had 18 wives. Why did he have to marry her? You know what she was? Look, we all know David Chatan, I'll tell you. But he was nexal with Bathsheba. And he forced Bathsheba, come inside, Rabbi said, come in. He was nexal with her. She is the one that he promised her. You're the queen that's taking over. Your son is the crown prince of my kingdom. Malchus Beis David, your son, your Shleimala, is going to be the future of our homeland. That means that all the other 17 wives are losers compared to Bathsheba. He promised Bathsheba, and that's it. It's a done deal. They say different. Shut them. Why? It's weird. Aren't you embarrassed what you did? Aren't you embarrassed what you did? What is Bathsheba? You want to see the psukim? Chazal, he was minded to us and Navi. He was wrong. I mean, it was Meshuna de Gemaisa. It's unbelievable. And the Abishter is upset. You got to see those psukim. A scandal. Kills a husband and married a wife. Shreklach. Eishesish. And he saw her and she looked good. And he went, Meshuna de Gemaisa on a roof. It's mamish. I don't know how you feel. When I learned those psukim, I turned colors. I can't even deal with it. The Heilige Torah, when's the Heilige Torah? I'm like, come on. This can't be even the pshuta. You can't even, on any level, how could it? And it's taka, something that you really can't understand. What a Malach David was, we have no understanding. But whatever. In the pashtus, it was no good. Now, he needs the future of Malchus Beis David. Basheva, your son. You know, I'm going to tell you, one of his wives was a woman whose name was, he had Michal Bashol, who he loved. Michal Bashol Eglosai. She was his calf. It's a lashon of my favorite. He loved Michal Bashol, not Shaykh. She watched film. Michal Bashol, she saved his life. Michal Bashol. You find me in Michal Bashol. It's not Shaykh who she was. She saved his life from Shaul HaMelech, and she wanted him, and she loved him. And when he loved his Michal, they would Kodesh Kadosh and both of them together. He was not Shaykh as Michal. Look, Yonason, he loved Yonason like more than a brother. You can't describe his love to Yonason. This is Yonason's sister. No? This is a shidduch. It's my Michal. And what do you want to hear about? Another one of his wives. How about, what's her name? Oh, not Shaykh. Abigail, Ashes Novel. You know what she did for him? She saved him from Gehenna. If not, she stopped him from killing her husband, Novel. If he would have killed, you know, Chazal say what Abigail did for David. He would lost his Elamah, but he wasn't really allowed to kill Novel. Her husband was a first-class mechutzef to David. I don't want to tell the whole story now, but if you notice the Tanakh, it's a very interesting story. The way David asked him, David was helping him. David wasn't mamish. He had a Mashiach already, but Shaul was still, and he asked in a nice camaraderie way. He was a relative of this Novel. Novel was super rich. He came from Kol ben Yefuna, which is David's family. And both the same Shevet. And David says, Novel, can you please do us a favor? They used to save all those people from the robbers. There were wolves in the area. Novel, they protected the whole countryside, David and his men. He had these few men. He was being hunted by Shaul, but in the meantime, he was helping Klal Yisrael. And Shaul was still Melech, and he protected him. He says, now it's, I think it was Erev Rosh Hashanah, he said, my men need some food. We've been doing you favors all the time, and can you give us some food? And he spoke with such a camaraderie. You got to see the psukim, my dear friend. Bincha, he calls himself. Your son David is asking, maybe you can do us a favor, such as this guy. Where David HaMelech talked with a certain simcha, the way you see that. Anyway, so what does he do, Novel? What? Novel is a first-class miser. We don't understand these people. But he was a miser. But him giving a penny was like, because nefesh. That's not happening. He was super rich, and he couldn't part with a penny. And when he heard that David wanted to give him something to eat, he wanted to take some food from him for his men, he went berserk. He says, no way. So the shliach came back, and he made fun of David. He said, who do you think? Oh, you're Yena Yukel. It's going against Shaul. You think you're king. You're nobody. He spoke like a. Anyway, so they gave David a message. David heard the message. That's the way he talks. Okay, Chabra, put on your swords. Tomorrow morning, there will not be a mashtin bekir left in his house. A mashtin bekir is machlekes. Either means a male. Have a seat. You take over the. It means a male or it means a dog. But it ain't good news. We're going to wipe out this Novel through it. You got to see David's Kifis, Melech. You talk like that to me? Merba Malchus? Chayiv Nisi, Mechutzif? Will wipe you out clean. Now, he had a wife, Abigail, Tzadekis, and a very Neviah. I think she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. And she found out that David's ready to take action very soon. And she got moving very quickly. And she started loading on figs with wine barrels and food. She put him on these donkeys or whatever. And she came all the way down the hill, and she falls down in front of David. She did a job on David. And she sort of let him, she says, please don't kill that man. He's novel. Kishmai Kenu. He's my husband. He is what he is. But you can't kill him. Because you're not a king. The world does not know about you yet. You had your Mashiach, very nice. But you kill him, say goodbye to your Olam Haba. And she was not, she'd be big time. You take one of the biggest nashim, I think she was an Aviyah, Abigail. She was murdered. And David heard it, and she knew how to do it too. She fell at his feet, and she called herself his maid. And she knew how to do a job. And she melted David through and through. And David said, oh, this lady is Rucha, Tamech, it's a beautiful, the story's half of a fella. Anyway, he agreed, he said, I won't do it. And she wasn't a Aviyah. She said, by the way, Novel ain't going to be around much longer. Remember me? Gemara speaks about how she did that, and whatever she did. But eventually, David married her. And she had a son whose name was Kilov. Oh, he had two names, Kilov and Daniel. It was a Masmid Otzam, a Tzaddik Yesod Olam. Kilov. And David had trouble with Ishbosheth. When he used to speak of learning, Ishbosheth, somebody from Shaul's family, used to be Mavayish David in learning. Whenever David said Ishbosheth said, And David he didn't have an easy life with him. He was a big Talmid Chacham, and David went through a hard life in the Beis Medrash until his son, Abigail's son, Daniel Kilov, two names, grew up, and he horrible to learning Abigail's son, what do you expect? And he joined, okay, you're old enough, come join us in Beis Medrash. The next time someone started up with his father, David, no, I'll show you pig packet. And he did a job in his bush, it was over. And David Amal, finally my son's doing the job for me. He's telling me, he was nachas. And Chazal say that Abigail was worth to David what she did from, he has a Michal, he has an Abigail. Those are two of his wives. There's no suffix, every one of them was a Tzadikis Gemura. Who does he give the Malchus to? Bathsheba. Now all of them were legal. He got married. This one? Scandal. Look, you're going to say Kolam and David Chotain, I'll tell you. He used to take one arrow and kill 1,000 people with one shot. After the Chet of Bathsheba, he could only kill 800 people. So obviously, it wasn't Pashut. And now, here's Bathsheba, you're the one. You want to embarrass yourself? She's Imishal Machas, her son, he's the king, no one else. I'm going to tell you a pshat that's night ice. I'm going to tell you half of the pshats in the Shire. But Mokum Shabali Tshuva ain't Tzadikim Gemurim Chalim Lamed. Nobody believes in that. And the Rambam is concerned. He speaks about Hilchos Tshuva. I know you don't believe in it, but it's true. You think you're Meruchik and Matuv, and you're nobody. You're loved more than all the biggest tzaddikim. You're the big person, not the tzaddikim. And they say that you steig a lot from being about tshuva. That the tzaddik simply doesn't have certain levels that you have. It's a mitzvah. You're bigger. About tshuva is not shaykh. Now, if you really believe in that, and the melech, especially the Bali Agada, the people that talk about the Bali Machshava, they say that Yehuda would sin for whatever reason. Yosef, that Shevet was not, whatever. Yosef didn't sin, Yehuda did. That's the Melech. David sinned, that's the Melech. Why? You got to relate. The Melech is an example. If the Melech is a Kaddish Merechem that never sins, you're not comfortable because you can't relate to him. You have somebody, okay, whatever that means. Now I want to tell you like this. Bathsheba is the greatest thing he ever did in his life, because he did tshuva. He Avera turned into a mitzvah. And he's much bigger. And you're in a much higher place. Right? wanted to tie the mizbeach by a chatos. It's on the four corners on top. And the oil shlomim are on the bottom. And there I have a lot of writers that the belt simply doesn't chap. That about tshuva is by far, it's your greatest thing you ever did in your life. You did tshuva. You're gewaldig. You did tshuva? Wow, you're much better than those guys. People don't want to accept that. He sinned, bug off. It'll never be the same. If you can do that, people don't look at it like you lost the chait and you became a mitzvah. They look at you like you fell and you blew it. People do not believe in tshuva. So David's Hasheva, you're the one. You're my prize to show the world. You're a tshuva. I did tshuva with this chait. You're a keli that caused me the highest madrega in the world. I want to thank you. Like there's no one like you in my life. That Shlema is coming for the next king for you. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a true story about a younger man. This younger man, he's a close friend of mine. He is a very big tzaddik, but he got a certain stella that is not an easy stella, where he has to do things that he falls. He has done things that are not so simple. With certain people, he hurt people. In any crowd, things go wrong. It wasn't so nizzer, wasn't so eisgehalten. Sometimes doing things with negiyas and, messed up here and there. Basically, he's gewaldig. But the biggest people, if you would only know the inside stories of the biggest people, you'd calm down a lot. This fellow, he told me, all those people whom he wronged, whom he messed up, he always does tshuva. The guy's a big bambos, he's always doing tshuva. So he's in a constant state of tshuva. That's why being involved in Musar is so precious, because it makes you about tshuva always. He told me again and again and again, he gets the biggest covet, dafka, the guy that he messed up and ruined and did something that wasn't nice, that's the guy that comes running to him, and he wants to snip his hair by the upsharing. Another one comes over to him and tells him, Halavai, I can have a chelik in you and your Gan Eden. People don't talk to him like that. Punk those people again and again and again all over the place. Always those people, he gets the biggest covet from all the mistake guys, the mistake people. Well, how did that happen? You know why? Because this person believes. He believes it. Most people don't believe it. So I don't know if they get that service. He believes, this man, I really stagged with him. In a vardig. So Mamel, if I can, that's the best thing you ever did. And a vardig, when they did Averis, weren't in the spal. Oh, an Averis, so what? You did tshuva. I once had a Maisa, and I was very concerned about it. And I spoke to Rabbiza, and he'd like to know what I was talking about. He says, you did tshuva. I mean, what's the... Well, tshuva is the whole shari tshuva. Did you read it? You did tshuva. You said, you have charutta, it's not happening again. Gandik. The Averi became a mitzvah. It's a new world. I mean, the mamas don't know what I'm talking about. What's the problem? You did tshuva. Goodbye. Like, mamish, kaloi hoya. The Welt doesn't go like that. They don't live with the Torah. They live with Das Balabayas. You did that? You'll never be the same. You have such a stain on your record. No, sir. You're no good. And the Vardik is just the opposite. I remember somebody, I had a friend of mine who came along with me one year. Came once. He was a young fellow. He had certain things with, on the plane, what you see. I remember he told me this. He asked Rabbiza, you see what you shouldn't see. You know what he said? Pulfaket. You look away, so you makayim it. So you got a double mitzvah. The positivism is not shaykh. If you live with the Torah. If you don't live with the Torah, you're finished. Even if you're an Einus, people aren't Michael themselves. They're too harsh on themselves. The I want to take a look at the Shira. The Shira is a song of the Az Yashir Zekeli Van Veil. I'll make them beautiful. Make Torah beautiful. Make it geschmack. When you learn, I've heard there's a lot of people. Make it geschmack. They see them do a lot of this stuff. When they go ahead and they have a party. Kidda Savannah, I once went to Square. Kidda Savannah, wow. Everyone comes out like with all his majesty. Everybody's looking up. Now everyone's together. Boom. The song to see them the way they come into daven like soldiers, all come in the same minute to daven mincha from all me tzafon me from all sides of Borough Park. They come in there. Skader, a knack. The Satma, the way the Satma, the Rebbe used to dance. I remember Rebbe Yelish used to dance on Simchas Torah. Oh boy. I remember his feet banging on the floor. They say it was L'malam and Atev, he was a Zakran already. And by then, by the Chassidim, only the Rebbe does the dancing. And the Chassidim was they're holding each other backwards, sort of, They made a whole, it was beautiful. Those Jewish people, Zeh Keli V'Aveyu, make it Geschmack. Arevna, when you learn, you got to save. Arevna is a built-in part of it's a din. Arevna, make this geschmack. You got to do that because I have a whole shtick Torah that I'm writing in this week's B'tachon Weekly. My latest shtickle is the Yashir is not only they drowned physical, they drowned the spiritual. Tumah of Mitzrayim went down with it. That's all I want to tie. But that's what it says when you make bracha on the Haggadah. Al Gul Arseinu, Al Padus Nafsheinu, on the Ruchlis, Memta Shari Tuma. In the Novhardok, for sure, that was the thing that happened in Tzias Mitzrayim. Oh, got out of Kidda, type of covered, got out of all this Kas, no more, out of Mitzrayim. That's called Tzias Mitzrayim, Or what are you talking about? What? You got out of what? You're free? No, You're free, okay. It's nice to be free, but that's the Ikka. So I wanted to take a look at the whole Shira. It's so full of simcha and simcha and simcha. Oh, Shira al Hashem. Those Yashis singing and singing. Ozi the Zimros. Ka, Hashem is my Zmiris. You sing and you're happy. That's Yiddishkeit. Now I want to tell you something. Tumas Mitzrayim was no joke. That was no joke. Mitzrayim is the number one place. Tisha, what do they have there? Shtufei Zima. They had a ball, those mitzvahs. In the Tumah, Olam HaTumah, Avodah Zarah also was very delicious, which we don't understand. They have plenty of that stuff too. They had their fun. Now, how are you going to, Rabbi Miller says, you have to fight fire with fire. You have to counteract that with so much fun, with so much Yiddish fun, the simcha breaking midos. You want to really have fun? Let's get together. Watch what I'm going to do tonight. There's somebody, watch. I got to control myself. And I got to report it to my Rosh Hashanah. And he's got to give me a smile. And I'm not scared of nothing. So I said, with a Novhardok, he was once staying by somebody. It was on a border or whatever. And in the middle of the night, he discovered that there's a Yichud issue. He disappeared. Spent the whole night in freezing Russian weather outside. Not to be. And he felt like $1 million. He goes to his Rosh Hashanah. Guess what I just did? Now, they felt great about breaking midos. That's the guy named this Shved that hates me. He's always yelling at me. For the first time, I didn't say a word. Wow, really? Yes. You know, that simcha. See, they knew where the main thing is breaking. That whole club used to get together. He's breaking his midas. You know what's going to happen in the next world? You know what they're going to do to you up there? They're going to be pointing at you, all your relatives. Pliny over al me. Pliny, this person was Mabel Midaisa. All your relatives are going to say, the world of truth comes out. All the time you had a struggle, everyone's going to see it up there in the Yenevelt. It's going to be so beautiful. Where you broke your midas. When you went against your nature. You're going to get schar. So Novanik is that Olam Haba right here. They're so busy with these things. They love this. Enjoy Yiddishkeit. Enjoy a Geshmaka, Blat Gemara. You have to make it Geshmak. It has to be Geshmak. It has to be a Seder. You have Seder Musa. There's ways of doing it, but you say this, make it Geshmak. You're gonna. That's the way you fight the. Now I'm gonna tell you. His son, Balchaim, from the Gor Chashav Gerach Siddim. He spoke at Repentance Menachem Malach's Yartzeit. And he was a Gerach. And he says, Tata, why did these Avardigas talk about Kedusha? How come they don't talk about Kedusha? It's not on their agenda. Take a look, all the Avardigas for them. They're not into it. Covet. Oh, you're looking for covet. Go sit and learn. Don't look for covet. That's Navardik. There's more stuff. But Kedusha, what? So you know what he told her in Parshas Menachem? He said, if you would have known what a Musa Seder was like by us, when you were finished with a Musa Seder, you couldn't even dream of that stuff. It's black out of your mind. And when people are on fire, it's a different world. Mamish, as Meister Dalta from the body, had 4 Talmidim that went to one of these way out places in Estonia, some weird place. And it was known over there that in that place, the tumah was rampant. It was big time. And they told the Alta, you're sending your Talmidim to such a place there to be Makar people? And the Alta says, you know my Talmidim are? You know, you're afraid for them? You have nothing to be afraid of, not my boys. They're on fire! When they learned Musa and Navardi, they got together and they heard it on Musa, they loved it. When they said they're going to burn out the whole place. No one stands, the HR doesn't stand a chance with them. They're in a different world. That's the way to go. Okay, look, the Violet we're talking. And if you're an Americana Harry, that's still having trouble with whatever it is, Kinetaiva covered. So you're even bigger. Why? Because we don't have Navardi at this point. We're getting there very quick. I'm having a lot of requests all over. I would like the Yerlim to be mispal. We want to bring back the real Navardi. There's a telephone number on the one in Lashon Kodesh. So here it is. If anybody wants to help with the Lashon Kodesh one, it's 917-635-3818. Again, 917-635-3818. That's a Lashon Kodesh alone. It's Gavaldi, not Stam. And that's the number you can call. You can send your $5,000 check. We'll be happy to accept it. You can give $10,000. It's a free country where you give as much as you want. I accept. You know what? I collect money. I go around with all the B'nai Torah. I say, first, I go into Kol Shimshon with the davening mincha over there, and I say, okay, I've decided to come to where all the Gvirim are hanging out. All the Gvirim. The lake where you go light. The Gvirim, and anybody want to give me money, I'm available. I accept hundreds, that's no problem. And if I have a bigger bill, I put that on top. See? Someone just gave me on, would you like to? Yeah, I'm happy to take. You can give 200 also. It's a free country. I'll accept it. And I have a shita. La'olam tikach. I'm not. Someone asked me, do you take money? Yes. When people ask me, do you take money? Oh, no, of course. I do it as a matter of principle. And one of the principles that I have is accepting money. They are very oiskehalt. I always stick to my principles. You see that? I'm a man of principle. Mashgiach doesn't like people of principle. They make trouble too much. But this kind of principle, I'm sure, will understand. Matter of principle, I'll take as much as you want. And the Eibishter helps. I'm telling you, Rabbi say, when I check for the Eibishter for money, the money comes. I'm telling you, I don't do nothing. I say, Eibishter, I'm not doing anything. You give me the money. I do this. It's not easy. You can try it. Come join me. Anybody want to join me collecting money? The one thing I decided I'm not Novandik when it comes to collecting money. They used to knock on doors. Not me. There, I'm total brisk. I hold from brisk. Brisk sits back, and they say, money, you come to me. I like that. That's for me. I'm comfortable with that mahalach. You have to go in freezing weather, knock on doors, and he's probably not home. I need that. And then you have to beg him. You have to learn Mussar for 3 hours, not to be afraid of this beer. No. You're coming to me, Babala. You know what happened? This is brand new stuff. There are people who, they have to collect for this, right? They're in New York, they're making money. They came to me, they want me to help them out. I got my own budget over here, Mises. I gotta make my own Bטחון weeklies. I'd like if you can take as much as possible. Give them all out, because today, we don't have as big an oilam, because usually my VAD is on Thursday. Didn't get around to everybody. So whoever can take stacks of them, give them out. They're right there, the boxes, they're all waiting. Anyway, it's a big mitzvah, a lot of nisim happy. The guys who give out for my stuff, you want to hear stories? One after another. My Bטחון weekly is no joke. They know about Noilam Abba, they all know the Abish themselves know, who's helping Mandel's Bטחון weekly? We'll take care of him. All right, you heard what I said. I hope, did everybody hear that one? This one I want to get out to the public. Bטחון weekly works. You know, the greatest story you have. We'll stick to the same story. It's okay. It's the best there is. They're all great. You know, people had mapeches, real mapeches in family situations. One of people who, but this story that they came special from Yehupitz, the other end of Lakewood. Mendel, I got to see you with my wife. We had an experience. You're not going to believe it. They come, they sit on the couch. I'm sitting across. Tell me what happened. It was Erev Shabbos. We're going to the mountains from Lakewood. And bumper-to-bumper traffic. My wife's having almost a nervous breakdown. He's more cool. He reads Bטחון weekly. It's a different type. And she's like, so she's all nervous. And it was Haka. I must agree with his wife that when you're at Erev Shabbos, you got hours of traveling and things aren't moving, you got your mind. So he tried to cry her down. He gave her a Bטחון weekly. Here, take it. Go read it. They had it in the car. She takes it in her hand. She was telling me the stories. As soon as she took it in her hand, the traffic disappeared on the spot. So she put it down. Boom! Traffic's back in business. She puts it. She takes it in again. No more traffic. This happened, I don't know how many. 3-4 times. Sounds better. 3-4 times. Maybe 10 times. I don't know. But it definitely happened a nice few times. It was consistently. And I remember Beloshin. She said, Rabbi Mendel, if it would not have happened to me, I wouldn't believe such a story. It happened. I saw it in front of my eyes. Anyway, so that's a Bטחון weekly story. If you want more, anybody want to give out Bטחon weekly? Do you know how many people I cured by getting involved in my stuff? You know how many? You know a younger man who was Tzahak the Tzara's emergency room and him like this. Him in the emergency room until he started getting involved in collecting whatever. You get involved in the cloud, the Abishta gives you a shmita, and if anybody wants to help out, I'm more than happy to take it, to accept your services. It's a bracha when you help Klal Yisrael. The Abishta helps you, and we should all be zeichet zamen to the Gula Shlem Makar. Tu b'shvat, Rabbi say Tu b'shvat, Eis Rotzen. Now's the time. It's coming. The sap in the tree starts coming back. The simcha of the universe. We're coming full bloom ahead. It's a new world's opening up. Tu b'shvat is Eis Rotzen, Gadol v'Ner, the Rebbe's Havtish, everything. You see the Abish's delicious fruits. The sweetness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's world. I'll tell you one quick thought. That is, how come the fruits are sweet and the vegetables are usually not? Because the fruits are near HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why. How come the birds sing so beautifully and the animals down here growl so beautifully and bark? How come? Because when you're near the Eivish, it gets sweet, it gets gishmak. And when you're down here, it gets And I'll tell you a quick thought. I don't like to say too many thoughts. I'm going to lose all my customers. But I'll tell you, this one's too good. The mun was white. Why was it white and round? Roundness is the Eibishter. It's bavust. Squareness is a human makes things with limited. Hashem makes everything round. Trees round globes, round fruits. Why? Everything round. Okay, and white. And it's a zera. Why was the man? I'll tell you the pshat. Whiteness means purity. It means a shemayim. Esav liked red. Red means artsiest. The ground and red is the same color, basically. He like, give me the red stuff. He didn't even see the round, because round, that's already getting too complicated for him. Roundness, the lentils, the soup that he had there with Yaakov. That roundness is red, that's me. I'm red, oil maza. And that's why the man was white, and that's why the one was round. And why was it a seed? Because ruchniistic things, you may not see instant gratification, but it's a seed for the future, for Elam Haba, and even in this world. You daven now, I'm going to tell you, I know a younger man, he has terrible, he has very big challenges. And he's a very hard time with bטחון, he's working on himself. And I told him, write down dry things, they're seeds. I don't believe in this, I'm not worried. Keep writing those positive things every day. And he told me it's magic. The first few times you write it, you don't feel anything. But with time, suddenly, hey, it's kicking in. Hey, I'm starting to feel. It takes time. What did it say, Salanta? That the Baal Musa shouldn't worry if he doesn't feel right away. You keep drip, like the stone, Rabbi Akiva keeps dripping, and soon the stone, as it makes an indentation. Don't be disposed, you don't feel anything. You go back to that same Musa Sefer and work on your issue. Kas, Kedusha, Bittul Torah, but keep again and again without expecting a hergish. I make a joke, people with a hergish. Oh, you have a hergish? No, Zayin Akiyim. Very happy for you. A hergish? You have it, you don't have it. You work, David will pay you back. And someday you'll be mamish in a different world. You won't recognize yourself. So keep writing down every day you're the Rashka Bahag. And one day you'll actually believe it. Anyway, this Tu B'Shvat, we should see the Abish's beautiful world and make brachas, the trees are coming back. And see the beautiful world of our Tata and Shemaim who loves us. I love the Abish, the Rabbi say. You know why I said that? Because I know people like to hear that. So I know Hashem for sure likes to hear it. That's why I said it. I want to be nice to Chaim. So I say it. I love Hashem. I know somebody who got a very big mileage by to keep saying that. I know a certain family that had a lot of people kept saying, I love you, Hashem, and things would get changed. You develop. Say